are still called
teens and young adults, expanding the gospel reach, exposing the future generation of believers to creative ministry mindsets.
You got one moment.
Son, if that ain't Jesus calling, shut it off.
This is the Call Podcast.
Hey. Whoa. Yeah. All right. My name is Jaslyn Collins. I am a praise and worship leader of the Call.
Yes, you are.
Let's introduce everybody. You introduce yourself.
It is your girl, the one and only, your young adult leader is Kelsey Phelps.
Yeah.
Yes, and it is your girl Samaya Burchell.
Seriously.
All right.
Yes.
All right. So as we know, we're in the theme of sin cycles of this month, and we just ended it off today. So I wanted to start off. We're just gonna jump right in. I wanted to start off by asking, what's something that we took away for this month?
What I took away from this month was everybody has a cycle that they are looking to break, whether they know it or not. And everybody is trying to find what their weapons are to arm themselves from their sins and their sin cycles. Because if you don't take the right precautions, you will fall back into the same thing over and over again. And today's sermon was on keeping your guard up and, you versus them. And not letting, anybody come in and catch you off guard, basically. Like, you always got to be expecting the unexpected. That's what I took from it.
I would say that, like, everybody, is going through a different cycle, but everybody's going through a cycle. So we can't sit there and, pick and choose, oh, well, she's going through that cycle.
Right.
Because you're going through a cycle yourself.
Exactly.
It says, before you check somebody's speck, you better check that plank in your eye. So that's what I would say.
All right.
So what I ended up taking from it was that, like you said, everybody do have their own different sin cycles, but it's more so about learning what comfortable way you can deal with it and getting over it. Like, honestly. That's it, really.
I think, like, today when Bishop was talking about keeping your guards up, I think that's very, very true, because I have some cycles that I've been trying to end, and they've been, like, it's been hard, the temptation, like, the trying not to fall back into those same cycles is just, like, you got to recognize that this is what is going on. Like, the enemy wants you to get there. So not falling back into that. So keeping my guards up with that.
One of our, I was in Bible study. It's very rare that I'm able to catch a Wednesday because I work, but the last one that I caught, we were talking about God's final and greatest test to Abraham. We talked a lot about what true faith is. And these are some like the key points that we took out of it. True faith is tested. True faith is responsive. True faith is submits. True faith trusts. True faith is obeying. True faith is perfected, and true faith is rewarded. Now, kind of like how I relate that to like sin cycles is like, sin cycles are tests. It's just a never-ending cycle, for lack of better words, of a test that you're going to continuously go through, that will grow your faith in God, and your response to it matters. What you do with it matters. How you view yourself when you come out of it, it matters. And submitting to it. For me, submitting to my faith looks like me knowing that I'm not always going to be on top of it. I'm not always going to be able to push myself through it on my own. So I'm going to need that help from God, from my village, from other people, to show me kind of different ways to break your cycle. Because you can look at examples of different people or people who you trust, and I believe that helps you break your cycle even more. And then, when you get to that level of you feel like you've broken one of the many cycles in your life, you get rewarded. and you've perfected your strategy. It may not always be as perfect, but for you, it will be perfect in how you defeat your sin cycles. So with that, I wanted to ask y'all, what do you feel like is your armor in how you defeat your cycles? What do you think helps you get through your cycles of just, it doesn't have to be like specific towards a specific sin, but just anything that you've done recently that has helped you break a cycle?
I think for me, that's keeping me from on the path of breaking the cycle. It's just replaying words like the word of God, scriptures that I know, certain scriptures that pertain to what I'm going through, and just breathing. Honestly, just being in the moment, like just calm down. It's all right. Don't go back. It's just a comfortable spot for me, so it's a little difficult moving forward. So it's just like being in the moment and breathing and remembering the words, I guess.
Yeah.
I would say gospel music. I feel like that really sets the tone. Like especially, like I've kind of fell off with it, but I'm trying to get back with it. But like every morning, like up until noon, I try to listen to gospel music so I can have a great day. Because sometimes I feel like it's not gonna be a great day, but if I put on a gospel song, it just kind of eases it, and it just makes me okay. You know what? I got this. I'm not gonna say I'm in control, but God is gonna help me.
Be in control. Yeah.
Be in control. So.
I gotta agree with Jazz on that when she said taking a breather and trying to focus on the moment. Because focusing on the past definitely gonna make the subject be more present in your mindset. But overall, like the best way that I honestly can see to do.
My bad.
I try to grab my attention.
No, my bad.
Overall, the best way I can say I do it is I zone out. I zone out and get in my own zone, bump gospel, and just think about ways that I can overcome it, like ways that I can be better, ways that I can use my mistake to advance my life.
Yeah, that's good. Why do you think it's so easy to fall back into those cycles if we know the outcome of the cycle?
It's comfortable.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Comfortability takes over when it comes to a whole lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, doing what's comfortable is what's more convenient for you. So you forget that life isn't about being convenient. Worshiping God isn't about being convenient, at least not for you. You shouldn't be, comfortability and conveniency are just, they go hand in hand as far, especially with the sin and what you have trouble with day to day and trying to like get out of.
Yeah. I'd say yes, being comfortable, also not knowing like when you turn your life around, what's the outcome of that? We're always focused on the outcome and not necessarily the journey. So it's like, how am I gonna end up? How are people gonna perceive me? When it's just like you kind of gotta, you have to be okay with being uncomfortable. That's how change happens. So if you comfortable, you're never gonna change, and that's scary. So I'd rather be scared and change into something greater than be scared and not change and just keep going deeper and deeper down into a hole.
For sure. One of Bishop's past sermons was breaking up with sin. I think that was one of my favorite ones. Breaking up with sin, I feel like that's self-explanatory. It goes along it's along the lines of ending your cycle, but how do you guys feel like you really break up with a sin, especially one that you've had for a very, very long time, something that's been is deep for you?
Stop going to where that would happen, where the sin would take place. Stop putting myself in an environment that will be the outcome of me sinning. Because it's bound to happen if I put myself in a position, especially if I'm not strong enough to be in that space. Without that,
I cut it off cold turkey. It's try to do it little by little, but then that kind of gives you room to fall back.
Yeah,
so, and you might even get into a bigger relapse. So you just gotta cut it off cold turkey. No matter it's hard. But God will help you work through it. But you gotta cut it off.
Yeah.
What I say is put God first, ask him to give you foresight in the situation. Honestly, it'll bring everything to the light and to the attention that you need to see in order to separate yourself from the sin. It's just up to you on whether you want to apply what you're seeing into your daily life. And I think that'd be the hardest part with, most situations. Is you'll see it, you'll give it, and you always have second doubts about it because it's, like you say, your comfort zone, your comfort spot, and then temptation is always going to be there. So, yeah.
Especially with being young, because
Yeah.
like the environment, like the culture now is just like do what you want, do whatever,
Right.
And we're young, we can do whatever, and then later worry about it later. But it's like this is the time that it matters most because this is where we build our foundation, and I think that plays a part in making sure that our minds are stayed on the word of like being in the environment to cultivate that mindset of like, no, we need to get it together. This is not good. This is not right.
Right.
So, yeah.
I want
No, go ahead.
like,
Go ahead.
touch on that. But you absolutely right about the culture though. But my thing is, it's more so about who you surround yourself with. Like long as your inner circle is trying to lift you up, move you, support you, it really don't matter what the culture is doing. It's more of a situation where you look at it like to each his own.
Yeah.
And it takes a lot, especially mentally wise. Yeah, it really does.
I use the phrase "to each his own" a lot. I really do, because I feel like a lot of the life that we're living now is we have to kind of look at it to each his own. Like, just because it works for you, just because it's what you want to do, doesn't mean it has to be what I want to do. Even if I consider us to be friends, it doesn't have to mean just because I'm your friend that I have to do what you do. Especially if I know it's not serving me.
Yeah.
And one of the notes that I took in that sermon was we should forsake sin, put that flesh on the altar and crucify it. I felt like that was just like a strong underlying message in his message, because like if we're talking in terms of like modern day things such as our sexual desires and our flesh, really for me, it's gotten the better of me sometimes. Just learning how to really put it on the altar and ask God to like really remove it from our spirit. Because I know that's been a sin cycle for me personally. And learning how to just turn my head from it and deviate from it, because that's not a cycle or a path that I want to go down.
That's why I say like the environment is so big because that's something that I struggle with too. It's just like not putting myself in that position to have to, choose between, because it most likely, because I've struggled with it before, it's going to go that way. So like making sure with dating, making sure none of that, long time.
What you want up front.
Yeah.
I think what we don't realize is like young adults, like growing into like full-fledged adults, is like we're gonna mess up. Like he expects us to mess up, especially in ways such as dating, because we are impatient a lot of the time. We are impatient when it comes to dating. I know for me, I want my person, I want him now. Like it's very hard to wait, and it's very hard to really know if the person in front of you is who God sent you or who the devil sent you. It's either or. It's never going to be anything in between. It's either who God sent you or the devil sent you. Now, whether God sent him to be your one or to be a lesson, that's something. Or who God sent you, or who the devil sent, just to completely ruin whatever plan God has for you in terms of dating. I've had to go back and just really reflect upon the people who I have been with, and what, try and put them in the category of did God send them, and what was the message? What did God want me to learn from this? Or, was the devil just trying to distract me from what God wanted me to learn? So
hold on for you move forward. So like you were saying, we are young, we are impatient, and we are doing our person right now, but it's more so the question is, have I evolved my life enough to be ready for that person when they do come, And what was the other one you were talking about? I don't know, my mind rambling right now. But what was it? It's just more so on a type of time when you had said, what was it? Give me a minute.
It's coming. It's coming.
Yeah, give me a minute. You know what I'm saying? When you had said that you look back and you reflect and see what you took and what you have taken from the past relationships, correct? Mm-hmm. And a lot of times, you're right. They do fail our plans, or they do come in and misconstrue the things that we do have going on. Mm-hmm. But something I have learned along the way is it wasn't my time for me to evolve my life with that person. Mm-hmm. Like, yeah. And I feel like it really be more so of a warning of, well, cool, if I'm doing this before I got with them and I started going down, it's more so of that person was never supposed to be around me. Yeah. So it's helping me learn, like, my circle and what I want in it and what I don't want in it.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's that cycle of when people say, like, I have a type of person, I feel like that's a cycle. Like, saying, like, I have a type, like,
Yeah.
for me, I like tall, dark skin, like, that's a cycle. And whether you say it's a cycle of sin or just a cycle in general, it's still a cycle that you probably should break, because, like, having, 9 times out of 10, the person that God is going to bring you is not the person that you want for yourself or your type. Yeah. For me, that's hard to wrestle with. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm a good 5'9". I'm a thick girl, so it's like it's hard to say that God's gonna bring me my man and he's gonna be 5'6", 5'6".
I got a little strength on me. I need somebody.
Right?
Yeah.
It's just hard. It's like we forget that it's not always gonna look like what we want it to look like.
That's something I struggle with.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Every day I pray, I was like, can you just take, I know what you want from me. Could you take that and make him, just even a little bit. Just give me one of the multiple things that I feel like I should have in my man.
It don't work like that.
I know it doesn't. But we just talking. Please tell me.
Nah, it don't work like that.
Yeah, I do wrestle with that. I just feel like God would, if, God wants the best, then he gonna give me the best.
Right.
Just looking but that may not be what the best that I need.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'd say, like, looking back, like, with past situationships, I always self-reflect. Okay, maybe there's something in me that, like, I need to work on. Mm-hmm. And that's why it's not working. I haven't got to listen in myself. Like, what. Maybe they're, trying to mirror. Like, okay, they got this problem, but the whole time I probably got the problem myself. Mm-hmm. So I would say, yeah, I kind of look at it as, like, mirrors. Like, okay, girl, you mad because you doing the same stuff. So
speaking of mirrors, Jazz, you actually taught a Bible study on Man in the Mirror.
It did?
And it was, yeah. Speak on that. Remind me, because I remember, but I want to hear it again.
So, basically, let me think. Hold on. Man in the Mirror. So, basically, I was saying we point the finger at other people, but we need to reflect it back in here, because we can't, get on to someone, or we can't criticize or judge someone when we have the same things going on or worse, Sure. So I think just embracing who we are, focusing on getting ourselves together before we go out and criticize, especially not in love. We don't need to be doing that, period. So if we do correct, or if we do, point the finger, make sure that we're doing it in love and in an embracing manner.
Yes, because it's the, saying, you point a finger, but it's 3 pointing right back at you.
Right.
So it's like, oh.
Nah, honestly though, that's a real valid point though. Honestly, because I lost my train of thought. Yeah. What I was gonna say was, it's way harder to self-reflect on yourself, especially when you're still in a situation. Like, and people don't never talk about how hard it is to actually self-reflect and, like, pick yourself apart. Like, that's a real.
That's a cycle in itself.
Yeah, it really is.
Nobody. It's hard to be wrong.
I think now that you bring it up, thank you so much. I think why I made that, lesson, is because I feel like that's a problem with people coming to Christ, is that people feel judged without, any embracing or correction. Like, constructive criticism is like more of a judgment, is more like looking down on someone, thinking that we're more holy. But everybody goes through stuff. Everybody goes through the cycles. Everybody has things that they're dealing with. So embracing them with that, like leading with that, like I've been through this, I've done this, I've, instead of you need to stop doing it. No,
Right.
that's a problem.
Yeah, I always tell my friends, like, when I'm giving them advice, the same stuff I'm telling you, I'm telling myself.
Right. Right.
Because I'm coming from a place where I know it. I'm probably still going through it. I'm happy to go through it, but we need to overcome it.
Yeah.
It's a real problem. We can't just be stuck and stagnant in the same cycle.
Yeah.
For sure.
But another thing on that too, though, is not all about like what you say. It's more so the delivery. Because a lot of people are more sensitive about certain topics,
Yeah.
So, and that's something I had to learn when it came to like giving advice. Because like honestly, I'm so blunt when it comes to giving advice. A lot of times it end up coming off in the wrong type of ordeal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like that's me too.
Yeah.
I have a problem. Like I want to make the point and make sure that like what the advice that I'm trying to give it is like so clear that I forget that you can't just. Some people just don't want to hear it. Some people, not everybody wants you to help them.
Yeah.
Especially for the people who, you can't help anybody that doesn't want to help themselves.
Exactly.
So it's just like you got to be careful with how you give people the real. You want to give them the real, but you want to be careful in your delivery and how you give them the real, because not everybody is open to hearing it. Not everybody's ready to break the cycle. Not everybody's ready to change.
And then some people, they just want to vent.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'd be like, oh, I'm telling a problem. Or like I have a homeboy. Oh, these guys, da, 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 da. Well, you just need to be by yourself. I don't want to, yes, I know that's, I know that's exactly what I need to hear. But I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that. Oh, well, when you least expect it, and I don't want to hear that.
I just need you to listen.
That's what I'm saying. I really didn't ask for the input. Like, I understand, yes, I love it, but you know what I'm saying? It's like I already know.
Right.
But I just wanted somebody to be a listening ear.
That's my disclaimer.
Yeah.
Do you want me to listen or do you want...
I do, yeah. What you want me to give, because,
Right.
Because I have a moment to, girl, I'm not trying to hear that.
If
But
you just want me to listen, I'll listen.
Right.
Do you want feedback?
do you want input? Unless
Do you want that feedback?
what would you do? You ready? And then,
Right.
Proceed.
all right. Well, I think... And now we both crying. So no.
No, for real.
Yeah.
Amen.
Hallelujah.
All right.
Well, I guess you can either plead the fifth, but what's a cycle that we're all going through?
Okay.
Financial spending, like,
That's good.
yeah, honestly, that and procrastination. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that right there on that.
Okay. For me, I would say I have an anxious cycle. When I feel like I'm getting too out there, I bring it back on in. Or if I, am just, there's a lot of stuff, I can, lash out or I might shut down, whatever. It's just like, breathe.
Yeah.
It's okay. And continue, like trying to not let that overtake myself. I think that's what my biggest thing is.
Yeah. Mine is, I guess, feeling like my voice isn't important. That's like a cycle I've had since I was a kid. Something I go through it every day, like with my family especially, like not just my way of keeping peace is not saying anything at all. Because if I not say anything at all, then in my head, everything is peaceful, everything is fine. There's no problem. I don't have a problem because you're not lashing out at me.
Yeah.
And I'm not a confrontational person.
Yeah.
Most people that know me know that. I don't do confrontation. I don't do people screaming at me, cussing at me, or any of that. 9 times out of 10, if you're doing any of that and it's towards me, I'm just going to stand there and look at you and walk away and never say, I won't ever be mentioned again. Because it's very hard for me to say what I want to say and not use it against anyone or remember that once I say it, it's hard to take it back.
Yeah.
You could say you're sorry for it, but it's very hard to say you're sorry for it.
Mm-hmm.
Or, for it to be perceived as you're sorry because it's like, well, you said it. So,
Yeah.
and I try to keep that in mind when I'm talking to people, because it's hard for me to talk to people.
Yeah.
And say what I want to say and make sure that what I'm saying, it comes across the right way and it's not being used against anybody, especially myself. So that's mine.
Yeah. I'd say probably like not being an advocate for myself. Like I'd be an advocate for other people, but me, I do want to keep the peace, you know. But like sometimes I like get alone and start thinking, and I think about like how all the people like that I've let. Oh, well, I really shouldn't let this slide, and and I get all angry, and you know, and it's just like, ooh, I shouldn't feel like violent, because sometimes you get to that point where I really should have slapped all, but
Yeah.
you know, you can't go off of emotion. So I probably say not being advocates for myself, but also probably like getting overstimulated and dismissing everything, and not actually like kind of pressing the issue, like facing it. Yeah, I would say like my grandma should ask me a whole bunch of questions, and I'll get overstimulated, and I just like, okay, I'm ready to get off the phone, click, and
That's what I was talking about. Right?
yeah, and we I literally don't sit there and adjust the situation until like it's bottled up, and then now I'm about to go off on everybody, and that's not good at all. So I'd say those are the cycles I'm going through right now.
Very good. Very good. Well, we have Bible study again this Thursday,
Yes.
7:30.
7:30. I think it's in the KUC.
In the
right?
KUC building, 223, I believe. It's in the KUC building for sure. You guys can find us there in our sermons and our message and our praise and our worship in our community every Thursday at 7:30. You guys join us, come through. We'd love to have you. We'd love to see you. We'd love to embrace you.
We love new faces.
We love we do. We love new faces. Yeah, you guys just come check us out.
Come up and pick the call.
Answer the phone. It's calling you. But yeah, once again, this is The Call podcast. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed.
Have a blessed week. Have a blessed week. Stay positive. Listen to some gospel music.
Yeah. I'm with my twin. We going in. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that was it.
We boldly proclaim our faith in Sunday school and public schools, from the sanctuary to the streets. This is the Call Initiative.